Okay, we are live, Madam Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, good evening. I am Temecula Mayor Pro Tem Mary Ann Edwards, and I would like to call this meeting of the Temecula City Council to order. We're going to have the invocation this evening. So Aaron Adams, would you please do the invocation for us? And then that'll be followed by the flag salute, and I will lead the flag salute. So we are all going to stand for the invocation.
All right, would you please stand and bow your head with me? Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we give you thanks for this day. We give you thanks for living and working in the great city of Temecula. Lord, I lift up our country and our state, and of course our city during these times. I pray for all the leadership that's in government at all levels of government. I pray for wisdom and discernment for this city council. I pray for the protection and guidance for all the city staff. I pray for the protection of our police and fire personnel that are maintaining our safe city. Lord, we give you glory and honor today, and we just know you have your hand on the happenings of this meeting, the business of the city. And we thank you for being able to convene and conduct the business of our great city. And we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Aaron. So if you would join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance as we live in the greatest country on earth. So please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May be seated. All right, Madam City Clerk, we are virtual again this evening, hopefully not for much longer. So could you please go ahead and call the roll?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Edwards,
Here.
Councilmember Nagar,
Here.
Councilmember Ron,
Here.
Councilmember Schwenk.
I'm here.
So we have a presentation this evening, and it's going to be presented by Rancho California Water District, and it's regarding the Temecula Parkway Recycle Water Pipeline Replacement Project. So I can say that 4 times really fast. So welcome, Rancho Water.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'm Jeff Armstrong. I'm the general manager at Rancho Water, and would like to just start out with saying thank you for the opportunity to present this project and update you on how it's going, what we're going to be doing, as well as the community. I have with me here a couple of our staff members. Jake Wiley is our engineering manager, and he's the individual that's been leading this project, and he's going to give you an update on the project. And then Grace Cardenas is here. She's our public information officer, and she's going to let you know how we're communicating to the community, the residents, the businesses, about how this is going to start and all the way through the project. So before I turn it over to them, though, I just wanted to say that, you know, Rancho Water, we're now like 55 years old, and we're transitioning from a growing water district, putting in new facilities, to now having to maintain the facilities that we have in place. And if you think about all the pipelines, all the water lines in the ground in Temecula and the service area we provide service to, if you were to just put them back to back to back and extend them, they would go all the way from Temecula through California to Arizona, and through Arizona to New Mexico, and through New Mexico into Texas, and go about halfway through Texas. So there's a lot of pipelines that we're maintaining and repairing, and that are in the ground under here. So as you age, things do break, things need repairing. I'm in that over 55 category.
You're telling me.
I know exactly how it goes. Things don't work as well as they used to, and so I wanted the council to know, though, that Rancho Water has, over the last few years, we've really worked hard on looking at our assets and developing a really robust, comprehensive asset management plan to how to keep all of our assets and facilities, whether they're pipelines, reservoirs, pump stations, et cetera, going into the future. And we're really on the front leading edge of this in our industry. But in the long run, it's going to save us money. It's going to allow us to prioritize the projects, reduce impacts to the community, and even partner and collaborate better with other agencies. So we're not in the street right after somebody else just went in the street. So tonight, This project is on Temecula Parkway. It's a water line that's had a number of breaks and leaks over the last few years. There's a segment of it that absolutely needs to be replaced. And that's what we're going to talk about and share. And with that, I will turn it over to Jake, who's going to provide that update.
Thanks, Jeff. That was, good intro. That pipeline stretch that Jeff was talking about, that's over 900 miles of pipeline that we operate and maintain, which is a good stretch. If you want to go to the next slide, Grace. And Jeff talked about this too, just our aging infrastructure. Obviously, Rancho Water has grown with the community over the years, and really, explosive growth in the late 70s and in particular the 80s and 90s, when a lot of our infrastructure went in. And to me, the 80s and 90s doesn't seem like too terribly long ago, but you're really talking about pipelines that are 30, 40 years old. And while we expect a lot of our pipelines to exceed that useful life well beyond 50 years, like Jeff said, we're starting to experience some that aren't, some that have some issues. And you see a couple of photos here. This is actually on Temecula Parkway. This is the actual pipeline that we're talking about. And these are the kind of things we see. This is a steel pipeline. It's experienced corrosion. And really up in the top right here, you see really the results of that unplanned disruption when we have these kind of major events, really expensive repairs, again, unplanned. You can see the amount of paving, which maybe the city is not too terribly upset about, but us repaving a long stretch of Temecula Parkway here. And really there's safety concerns too. If you've got leaky pipes and there's an issue, you can have problems that you don't see, undermining of the roadway and sinkholes. We've all kind of seen the impacts of that. So really there's a responsibility that when we know there's an issue, we need to go in there and take care of it. And unfortunately, what we're going to talk about tonight is in one of the busiest thoroughfares, I think the second busiest thoroughfare in the city of Temecula, but we've really worked hard to kind of minimize the disruptions, plan for these things. And instead of me kind of fumbling through the entire project, our public relations group actually put together a nice video. It's short, it's just about 2.5 minutes. We're going to show that to you, and I think it's going to do better than I could. So Grace, if you want to share that video.
Yes.
In November 2020, Rancho Water will start construction on the Temecula Parkway pipeline replacement project. The project will replace nearly 8,000 feet of recycled water pipeline running under Temecula Parkway between Bedford Court and Rancho Pueblo Road, which translates to just over 1.5 miles of purple pipeline. This pipeline has an essential role. It delivers recycled water for irrigation and landscaping to the community's beloved parks, large and small businesses along Temecula Parkway, golf courses, and schools. The pipeline will be replaced on Temecula Parkway in 4 phases, moving from west to east. Construction will take place on Temecula Parkway in the westbound lanes. The eastbound lanes will stay open. During construction, westbound Temecula Parkway will be reduced down to 1 lane. While access to neighborhoods and businesses will be maintained at all times, traffic delays are expected on Temecula Parkway. Alternate routes are available in all phases with the exception of Phase 1. Construction will start November 2020 and is anticipated for completion in May 2021. We've tried to make construction as easy as possible for the community through a compressed construction schedule and longer daily construction hours, so we can avoid the disruption of multiple road closures spread over a longer construction period. You might be wondering why Rancho is doing this work now. The pipeline has become corroded over the past 20+ years and needs to be replaced. It is being replaced now with an upgraded, stronger material to avoid potential for future pipeline breaks, which are expensive and impactful for the community. We'd rather deal with the impact of construction now rather than frequent unplanned inconveniences that will only continue as the pipeline gets older. The more we use recycled water for things like irrigation and landscaping, the more water is available to district customers for drinking, cooking, laundry, baths, or showers. The Temecula Parkway Pipeline Replacement Project offset enough water to provide drinking water for 16,000 people per year, which is about 10% of Rancho's service area. We're committed to keeping you informed throughout the project construction. Stay informed. Visit our website at ranchowater.com/pipeline to sign up for email alerts and follow us on Facebook.
So hopefully that gave you a pretty good overview of the project. Really, I just wanted to touch on a couple of highlights. Just the city has really gone through this process with us over the last few years as we've obtained our encroachment permits and those kind of things. And really the project, we actually completed the design last year in 2019 and put the project out to bid and received some really elevated bid numbers, really a couple $1 million over what we were expecting. And so really kind of dug into what the issues were that were driving the high cost, and really the feedback we received both from contractors that did the job and those that decided not to was really an extended work time. Basically, the project was going to stretch out over a long period of time because of a very short work window, and so we really kind of came back to the city and worked collaboratively with your group and really try to accomplish two goals. And one, obtain some cost savings for our ratepayers, which are also your constituents, so same people. And second, to try to reduce the construction schedule, really try to hammer on that schedule to get the contractor in and out of there as quickly as possible. And so we made modifications of the project, some of the alternative routes and things that you saw in the video, and extended some of the work hours to allow them to really get some production on a day-to-day basis. And the results were really favorable. We rebid the project in April 2020. We actually pushed it out pretty quick just because we knew traffic was lighter and we were hoping that it would stay lighter for some period of time. And really what we saw was a $2.3 million reduction in construction costs. We got a low bid of $4.4 million. And also in-street schedule reduction of over 3 months. So 3 months less that the contractor is going to be in the street disrupting traffic and the businesses and things. So really on both fronts, I mean, exceeded expectations on that, and really got to give a ton of credit to the city of Temecula and really their willingness to be pragmatic and work with the district, and really with an honest aim towards best service to the constituents, right? How do we have great infrastructure and minimize that disruption while we're putting it in? I think the city and the city's leadership really showed in a big way that that's forefront to the decisions they make. So personally, very appreciative for the efforts that we were able to do together, and really the results. I think big wins on both fronts for our community. So that being said, good to celebrate kind of some pre-project wins, some good cost savings, but we do have to go into construction. And really one of the big things, two big things really. One, we got to manage construction well. That's mandated. That's my mandate, and also our construction contract manager, Casey Arndt, who's listening who's on the call tonight. But also communicating with the community, and in particular those that are most impacted. So I'm going to turn it over to Grace, and she's going to talk about kind of the things that we're doing, and we're partnering with the city on a lot of these things, but the things we're doing to really get the word out, educate people, and make sure even as the project's going, we're continually communicating, making sure people are in the know about what's going on. So Grace, I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Jake. So I just wanted to run through some of the outreach activities that we've completed so far and what we have planned moving forward. So on your screen, you will see a sample of one of our newsletters. This went out to all of our customers in their water bill in August. And then the other sample is of a water bill, of the envelope of a water bill. And that's some messaging that we've put out recently. This will start actually today, and then we bill in 4 cycles. So it'll run through the beginning of November. And so these are some mass messaging tools that we've used. We will also be using email alerts in social media, which I'll talk about in a second. We've also scheduled 2 virtual community meetings, one October 20th at 3 p.m., the other October 27th at 6 p.m. You can sign up on our website at ranchowater.com/pipeline. And both of those meetings will be going over the same content. We just wanted to give people some options. And this is really for any of our residents to understand and dive a little bit deeper into construction details. And it's also a place where they can ask some specific questions that they may have. We are open to questions at any time, but we wanted to provide this forum as well for people. Another thing we're doing is working very closely with the City of Temecula's PR team. And so this is a sample of something that we put out on our Facebook page, and the city shared it on their Facebook page. This was back in August. And because the city has a lot more followers than we do, it helps to spread that message even further. And so what you'll see coming up is weekly social media posts dedicated to Temecula Parkway. And we've worked with your team to make sure that they are also pushing those messages out as well. And then we have a place on our website where you can sign up for construction updates. And this is really as construction progresses. We want people to have that information directly in their email. So if the timeline changes, if one of those phases happens to change, people will know about it either through Facebook or right in their email. So we're also encouraging people to sign up for that as well. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about our business and community group outreach. We've been working with Pechanga, the Temecula Valley Hospital, and Rancho Christian School and Church really closely to make sure that they're fully informed about what's coming up. We also plan to call each business along Temecula Parkway personally, and just so we can touch base with them. We created some of these signs for all the businesses, and we're going to put them out just so people know that businesses are still open during this construction period. And I wanted to mention that we know that detouring people on De Portola Road is impactful to those residents, the Los Ranchitos HOA area residents. So we've worked with the HOA to make sure that we're staying in close contact with them. They actually asked that we reduce the speed limit on De Portola during construction. And so thanks to the city, we were able to accomplish that. And I just wanted to mention, we have a lot more activities planned. This is really the time where we're kicking off all of our outreach. And then as we move through each of the phases, we also have very specific targeted outreach that we're working on for those people most impacted within each phase. And that's kind of the highlights of what we have going on. I'm going to stop sharing so we can see you again. But I think now we can answer any questions that you have.
Any questions, anybody? I think you did such a great job. Nobody has any questions. We really do appreciate how well you work with staff to make this as, painless as possible. We work on road projects of, magnitude quite often, and we have found that the residents really do appreciate if you work off hours and keep them notified. And I especially like the fact that you're going to be calling businesses on Temecula Parkway. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Nothing? That's it? All right.
They've done a good job. I'm the liaison. They gave me the similar presentation a little bit ago, and I got to say, pretty impressed with the modifications that you all have accomplished, especially the cost savings on your end, but just the timeline, and condensing that significantly. Really do appreciate the work on that.
Yeah, thanks, you guys. Thank you, Rancho Water.
All right, thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move on to public comments. Madam City Clerk, do we have any public comments?
We do.
And then how many do we have actually?
We have 6.
Okay. A total of 30 minutes is provided for members of the public to address the City Council on items that appear on the consent calendar or are matter not listed on the agenda. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. For all public hearing or business items on the agenda, each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. For this meeting, public comments may be submitted and read into the record pursuant to the important notice provided at the top of this agenda. So we're in a virtual environment, so City Clerk is going to read the public comments for us. Thank you, Randy.
You're welcome. The first comment is from Sarah Payton. Regarding affordable housing, the city's general policy states that it supports legislation and funding programs that promotes the development and enhancement of safe, affordable, and accessible housing within the city for all economic segments of the population. Approximately 25% of Temecula's households earn less than $50,000 a year. The demand for affordable housing is so great that apartments are rarely vacant for more than a week or two. Under lease terms at Warehouse at Creekside, moving from a one-bedroom apartment to a two-bedroom apartment within the complex, while the lease is still in effect, is considered breaking the lease. Therefore, if a single mom and her 3 children sharing a 500 square foot one-bedroom apartment wants to move into a two-bedroom apartment, real example, she has to pay a penalty to break her lease, pay first month's rent and a deposit for the two-bedroom apartment, and pay the rent on the one-bedroom apartment until it is rented out again. These terms effectively prohibit her from improving her family's quality of life. However, it ensures an annual net income of $374,000 to property owners. How does this align with the city's goal to provide affordable and accessible housing? The next speaker is Andrew Foster. My name is Andrew Foster, and please stand with me and the people of this city to defend equality under our Constitution and reject State Measure 16 in the November election. State Measure 16 would amend our state constitution and allow the state government to discriminate between Californians based on race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin. Californians overwhelmingly reject State Measure 16. A poll of 1,704 California residents released on September 16th by the Public Policy Institute of California showed voters opposed to State Measure 16 by huge margins. 80% of voters have decided how to vote, and 60% of voters who have decided are opposed to State Measure 16. Californians in every area of the state reject State Measure 16. The poll shows 53% of Los Angeles and 75% of Inland Empire voters who have decided how to vote are opposed to State Measure 16. Elected officials, please join us in defending California's unity and equality by opposing State Measure 16. Don't divide us. Don't amend our Constitution to allow the state government to discriminate between Californians based on race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin. The next speaker is Laurel Lamont. Conservice is a required monthly tenant fee at Warehouse at Creekside. It is in addition to the rent, and tenants may not opt out. Conservice costs $135 a month, which includes water, trash, sewer, cable service, and parking. Conservice is a non-negotiable fee, even if a tenant would prefer not to incur the added expense of cable or if a tenant does not drive or own a car. Failure to pay conservice results in eviction. Therefore, it is a means to circumvent rent restrictions and profit off the lower economic workforce. Recent correspondence with staff members suggests that the city is unaware of this required monthly fee. Therefore, it is safe to assume that the city's annual audit of Warehouse at Creekside does not include an evaluation of the fees associated with Conservice. Will the city conduct an audit of Warehouse at Creekside dating back as many years as legally permissible to include a calculation of Conservice's monthly rent to ensure property owners are adhering to the rent restrictions? The next speaker is Becky Sulzman. Council members have communicated in both written and verbal form that affordable housing is an important priority to the city. Its general policy states that the city supports legislation and funding programs that promote the development and enhancement of a safe, affordable, and accessible housing within the city for all economic segments of the population. How does a $6 million grant to a for-profit private developer to build Warehouse at Creekside and affordable housing complex meet the objective of safe, affordable, and accessible housing? The $6 million gift enabled private investors to create a business which currently yields a net income of $374,000 a year. The only apparent condition to Warehouse for Creekside is rent restrictions. However, in exchange for that single condition, private developers received a grant of $6 million, full occupancy to their building, annual profits, working capital, and the right to sell the building for personal profit. How does this align with the city's priority for affordable housing? The next speaker is Courtney Sheehan. Regarding affordable housing, the city's general policy states that it is committed to safe, affordable, and accessible housing within the city for all economic segments of the population. Temecula's lower economic workforce is no less deserving of essential delivery services than the city's affluent population, especially during the COVID outbreak, in which no contact services are a communal requirement. Warehouse at Creekside, a subsidized housing complex, does not provide a secure drop-off location for delivery services. Management has instructed delivery drop-offs to be coordinated with tenants or left outside on a public sidewalk. Besides the obvious issue with leaving essential items on a public sidewalk, this instruction reflects a lack of awareness for the very real dangers that COVID places on our communities and how essential delivery services are at this moment in time. Residents at this publicly funded building should be able to access their deliveries without fear of theft or infection. According to the regulatory agreement between Warehouse at Creekside and the city, ordinances number 91-11 and 91-15, Temecula has full jurisdiction over the redevelopment plan. This $6 million grant Warehouse at Creekside received, coupled with a significant reduction in annual property taxes, gives the city the power to effect change on behalf of its lower economic workforce and requires that publicly funded buildings like Creekside remain accountable to our public officials. Will council members, through either negotiations or a city ordinance, require Warehouse at Creekside to provide tenants with a secure location for delivery services? Thank you for your time and consideration. The next speakers are Brian and Christine O'Neill. Temecula is a beautiful and safe city. We thank you for your efforts to maintain our excellent quality of life. Safety and security for all residents is key. We humbly thank the brave men and women of law enforcement for their service. And the last speaker is Ms. Miller. From ancient scriptures, let justice roll down life's waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Amos 5-24. Important elections in local politics is Temecula Water Board. The wineries use 30% of their water from aquifers. What will happen when the drought reoccurs because Riverside County allowed the Amazon Distribution Center to be built in Riverside and running rock haulers for more development through COVID? How much water do the Temecula wineries use for growing season? 1,400 gallons per vine. The amount of water used by agriculture in Temecula rivals any major commercial farms across the United States. Water that the Colorado River doesn't have, that underground aquifers and wells do not have, and appears that this winter is predicted as a drought due to the overbuilding that was allowed to go on during COVID and drive up the heat and dried out the planet. So there are 7 seats on the TVMWD Water Board and 4 seats are open. 9 people are running for the seats. We are to vote for 4 board members, 3 full-term and 1 short-term member. The question is, will newly elected members tell development that TVMWD will not serve water for the projects because we are water insecure? It may be somewhat about commercial water rates, however. It is more about whether there is water in the aquifer, the Colorado, the rain, Owens Valley, recycled resources, etc. So we choose Skylar Temple from the young generation who are faced with scarcity from our wastefulness and causing a drier planet. Skylar loves the nature of Temecula and would like to see enough rain to assure its diversity. Richard Williamson will be creative in his programs to direct the public in our efforts to decrease our use of water. He realizes most water is imported, and due to this heat, we may not be receiving as much blessing from the upper atmosphere. Williamson worked for the EPA in the 1970s when the Clean Water Act was established. Kendall Stewart is a farmer and lives water efficiency by directing the repair of any water leaks and timing devices. Lowering commercial rates for farmers does not mean we drop our guard against increasing acreage for grapes or selling out to developers or allowing the county to place hotels next to wine country. Brian Brady has studied the new techniques for producing water from evaporation to recycled sources and will apply those techniques with appropriate funding. John B. Rossi for the short-term candidate Wood is an experienced water manager and concerned with protecting the precious source of life. Water and will organize scouting water leaks from sprinklers in the night. Mayor Pro Tem Edwards, that's 3 minutes.
All right, thank you. Okay, we're on to city council. Yeah,
Madam,
Mike,
yeah, just a quick comment if I may, and
sure,
this
go
will
ahead.
be my city council report if that's okay.
Sure.
A couple of things that the speakers brought up. I think there was almost 4 of them in relation to affordable housing. First, Mr. City Manager, if you can just look into the affordable housing covenant and see if it requires them to purchase things like cable TV or even internet. If that's a problem, some people may not be able to afford it. Frankly, these days, internet's being provided everywhere. So I think that's something to look into as it relates to water and other utilities. I would assume that that is an extra cost figured into the affordable covenant. But more to the point, Mr. City Manager, I know you'll look into that. More to the point, affordable housing. There's an affordable housing crisis throughout California, and it's really difficult because the cost of land is one thing and the cost of construction is another. And when those two come together, there needs to be rents charged enough in order to provide not just a profit to a developer, but to be able to provide maintenance, the mortgage on the loan, all the things that go along with running a building, and of course, profit at the end of the day. The only way to make affordable housing work is somewhere something's got to give. Either they get the land for free or a subsidy to help build the units, and sometimes both. This is difficult, extremely difficult up and down the state. However, this council, and particularly my colleague Matt Brown and I, who sit on the housing subcommittee, we have 3 affordable housing projects, and I think maybe 4 in the pipeline. We're in negotiations right now. The application is in right next to Rancho, California Road and Yanez Road, right next to where Oscars is. It's zoned for that, and there'll be affordable housing along with some other units coming there. There's an affordable housing project approved at Main Street and Pool Hole, which are approved and working on getting tax credits to help them construct. The Planning Commission just last week approved an affordable housing project on Las Haciendas out in the Uptown Jefferson specific plan. Councilmember Ron or City Manager, am I missing one? It seems to me there was a 4th.
Habitat for Humanity is also looking at a six-pack project as well in the near term as well.
Thank you. And so little lengthy of a council report, but I know affordable housing is important to a lot of people. And, you know, if I may brag a little bit, like a lot of things, we're really ahead of the curve up and down the state. We managed over the years to cobble about $14, $15 million together in order to do affordable housing. And at the same time, launch the Uptown Jefferson specific plan so that whatever housing we got there would stimulate additional growth in that corridor. So, you know, while I'm at it, kudos to staff and my colleague, Councilmember Ron, and of course the rest of the council who really supported us moving in that direction. If anybody wants any more information, welcome to email me or any of the other council members, and happy to provide you everything you need. Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Anyone else for city council report? Zach, are you moving?
Nothing for me. Thank you, though.
Matt?
I got a quick couple items. First, Mike, thanks for the comments on the affordable housing piece. I think some of those folks have reached out and we're trying to set up a meeting here as soon as we can. So look forward to having that conversation with them and sharing some of what we're doing and see how we can help more. Council reports, League of Cities. We had our meeting, annual conference virtually last week. It was weird to do it that way, I'll be honest. But you know, we definitely missed out on karaoke night.
I was going to ask if you ran the singing contest.
The biggest disappointment. But beyond that, you know, I just wanted to commend our city clerk, Randy, for all of her participation and role with the league, because it's certainly the conference went extremely well, and I know that that you have a strong hand in that. Aaron Adams did a remarkable job in his presentation and represented our city extremely well. And I was excited to be able to join Mayor Nomura from Carpinteria and Vice Mayor Wright from Stockton on a session talking specifically about race, equity, diversity, and inclusion. And to be able to share Temecula's story of where we are and where we're going, and have, in fact, a very candid conversation about that. And since then, we've had cities reach out to want to learn more about what Temecula's done. We're trying to set up some meetings with our neighbors to the south in Escondido, and I think it was. Overall a great set of meetings, but it was nice to see Temecula so prominently displayed and being able to, help our cities throughout the state. So great effort there. A couple of other quick things. I wanted to commend city staff and public works also on the restriping of this, the circle around Red Hawk there and Red Hawk Parkway. I know it's going to take some getting used to, but I will say anecdotally, the speeds have become much more reasonable, and the number of cars, out there breaking the law and using that as a racing thoroughfare have dramatically decreased. And I did speak with city manager about this earlier today, and I believe our Captain Hall has already approved this. But despite the changes, there's still some folks who are ignoring the striped lanes and still doing their best to complicate our traffic situation. And so we will be increasing our enforcement in the area and having some motorcycle patrols and extra eyes on the road there. But overall, I think it's going to have a dramatic impact on the quality of life for the residents there. Speaking of quality of life, and I apologize for the length of my report tonight, but it's been a busy couple weeks. The south side of Temecula, along Pechanga Creek and Temecula Creek, we've had neighbors and others talking about the fire risk, and I know Chief Crater has been doing a fantastic job of outreach with the community, working with Luke Watson and others, and encouraging our HOA and even California Department of Fish and Wildlife to allow us to do the kind of brush clearing and things that need to be accomplished. I think we all recognize, and if we've spent, and I know we all have a tremendous amount of time in Temecula, we've seen both Temecula and Pechanga Creek's fuel load on the vegetation increase, especially over the last decade or so. And there, it's a complex group of property ownership, from Riverside County Flood to, the HOAs to, a variety of other users. What I'd like to get the council sort of, nod on is for us to be able to reach out to all the different property owners and have a conversation about more of a sort of a creek-wide fire management plan to help reduce fuel loads and make sure that we're doing our best to manage the fire situation on that part of town.
So, Matt, is that something that we need to agendize first and get an idea of what it is and council approval, then you go out?
Yeah, I don't think we need to go that far just yet. I think I'd like to, maybe if we could just direct the staff and give them we all like to give a heads up before we start dedicating a lot of staff time towards things. But if I could just kind of get a thumbs up from folks just to, just so that we're, and we're not voting on anything, Peter, don't worry. But just getting everybody's understanding that we'd like to at least start to look at the process and then come back with a full report to the council to see what it would take to, put together more of a regional perspective on a plan down there. I think the other benefit too, just as an aside, is that we've had a lot of outreach and communication with our partners, with the folks at the Sierra Club and Endangered Habitat League and others, saying that we will address projects related to wildlife movement and all that. All of these things are interrelated. So I think this would be a nice first step to bring together all of these parties and have a conversation that really addresses public safety within our community. So
well, I think
said,
what
you
you've
know,
proposed falls under, one of the other hats that you wear. So I don't think there's any problem with you meeting with constituents and getting the first responders down there to kind of organize, and then you can come back to the council with a, formal presentation.
all right, we'll do. And then the last one, just on a more positive note, I appreciate Kevin Hawkins sending me a text the other night and reminding me about Sherry Williams and her group doing another evening of jazz for the the programs that she puts on. It was a great event. Although it's still virtual, I got to say the work that that community services is doing right now and the programs that are being offered in the city, that was real timely for me. I enjoyed it immensely, and look forward to live jazz at the Merc at some point in the future. But in the meantime, these solutions really are important for our community, and much appreciated.
So, Zach, did that, spur any memories for you? Want to add anything?
No, I think the Merc, we all miss the Merc in the theater, right? Like, we certainly can't wait to get back. And Matt, I really appreciate you calling out Kevin and his staff. They're just doing a fantastic job all the way around, as is the entire city. But TCSD is really doing well for the community.
I would say that the virtual environment really has brought out the best in our city staff, and for the most part, our residents as well. Our daughters visited last weekend, and they ran down to the grocery store, and one of the first things they said when they got home was, "Gosh, I can't believe everybody's wearing their masks." I guess in San Diego, and they're not doing it so much. So Temecula residents have really been responsible throughout this whole COVID situation, and city staff has had to completely retool virtually everything. So did an amazing job in record time, and we just want to commend you for all your hard work. And it still continues because we're still in that virtual environment. So I guess we'll know sooner or later. I think we're working slowly towards getting open. I saw some things from the county today, so we're getting there. So thanks, everyone. All right, then we can move on to the consent calendar. All matters listed under consent calendar are considered to be routine, and all will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no discussion of these items unless members of the city council request specific items be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Item number 1, waive reading of standard ordinances and resolution. Number 2, approve action minutes September 22nd. Number 3, approve list of demands. Number 4, adopt ordinance number 2020-8, amending Title 1 and Title 17 of the Temecula Municipal Code related to the administration of land use entitlements and permits, including permit revocations, long-range planning application number LR20-0265. And this is the second reading. And turning the page, item number 5, adopt resolution reaffirming and proclaiming the existence of a local emergency related to the COVID-19 virus pandemic. Number 6, vacate Los Campos Verdes and Calle Primavera of parcel map 13275. And that's all. So I have a motion in a second. Anybody want to pull anything? No? All right, now I'll accept the motion in a second.
Move consent.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion in a second. And Madam City Clerk, could you call the roll, please? Aye.
I can barely hear you, so your mic might be off, but I'm an aye.
Oh man, you're still muted, but I'll say yes as well.
Zach?
Okay, so we'll just go ahead and try this again. Mayor Pro Tem Edwards?
Aye.
Councilmember Nagar?
Hear you well. Aye.
Councilmember Ron?
I might change my vote now. Aye.
Councilmember
Oh,
Shui?
you can't.
Aye.
That's unanimous, Mayor Pro Tem Edwards.
All right, thank you. So we are going to recess the city council meeting to the scheduled meetings of the Temecula Community Services District, successor agency to the Temecula Redevelopment Agency, the Temecula Housing Authority, and or the Temecula Public Financing Authority. So now, Zach, it's all yours.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. I will call tonight's Community Services District meeting to order. Since we remain in the virtual environment, Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Director Edwards,
I'm here.
Director Nagar, then the head nod is noted. Director Ron,
Here.
Here.
President Schwank.
I'm here. We are firing on all cylinders tonight. All right. Do we have any public comments this evening?
We do not, Mr. President.
All right, thanks. I'll dispense with the reading of the rules and we'll move on to the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no discussion of these items unless members of the Temecula Community Services District request specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Item number 7, approve action minutes of September 22nd, 2020.
Move approval.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
All right. Would you please call the roll call vote?
Yes, Director Edwards,
Aye.
Director Nagar,
I'm unmuted, okay? Something's wrong. I for the next.
Director Ron,
Aye.
President Schwank.
Aye. Thank you very much. That passes 4-0. Director Hawkins, do we have a community services report this evening?
Nothing until a bit later, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, sir. General Manners report, anything tonight?
Nothing further, Mr. President.
All right, Board of Directors, anything?
No.
All right, we'll go ahead and move adjournment to the our next meeting on October 27th, 2020.
I just love you guys so much. Okay, we're going to move on and reconvene the Temecula City Council, and we have one business item, and that's number 8. Consider update from community services regarding holiday season events and provide general direction regarding the same. So, Mr. Hawkins, you're back.
I'm back. I never left. Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. And before I turn it over to Don, just a quick comment on something that came up last night at the Community Services Commission. There was a recent Stanford study that examined current and virtual telework norms. And it's not just the impacts on workers in this COVID environment, but it's in regards to social isolation and tracking and any lost productivity, but also the possible long-term impacts to innovation and creativity due to reduced social interaction. Now, obviously, Temecula wasn't part of any case study or control group, as this environment has not compromised our focus on innovation and creativity, which has served us not just in the short term, but will continue to yield returns over the long haul. So tonight's item to discuss holiday planning efforts would not even be possible without the investment and support you've made in regards to the City Work family and the culture we have here. Like everyone else out there, employees here have been impacted in multiple ways. It's like, how will I deal with remote learning for the kids? If there are family members with compromised immune systems at home, do I need to decide between my job or my family and so on? But as a result of your leadership, support, investment, and most importantly, your trust, our shop and others have been able to carry out the business of the city or plan and produce an array of programs, events, and activities. And oftentimes, as you pointed out, it's remotely. And these are the envy of our regional counterparts as well. All this for the community in which we dearly love. So although there remains daily challenges, and that's for all of us, I didn't want this item to go forward without expressing the appreciation and gratitude that really I just hear so often from our TCS team towards all of you, Marianne, Mike, Matt, Zach, and Aaron, which allows us to again present some of the fantastic offerings you will hear tonight. And with that, DA.
Thank you, Director Hawkins. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. It's nice to see everyone. I haven't zoomed in to give an event update since May, and now fast forward, I'm ready to talk holiday planning. I know it's only October, and you're probably expecting a Halloween update. Well, TCSD Commission Chair Levine will be providing the Halloween update, so I'm just going to jump right into the holidays. Next slide, please. Thank you. Nationwide, with the cancellation of signature special events such as New Year's Eve in Times Square and the annual Pasadena Rose Parade, Current guidelines unfortunately require us to follow suit with the cancellation of our annual Santa's Electric Light Parade. With that, I bet you're still wondering what the Dawntastically creative team has planned for this year. Well, here goes. 'Twas the Lights Before Christmas home decorating contest. This annual event typically has around 40 homes entered. I would anticipate our participation to increase this year, as I think everyone will be looking to spread some holiday cheer. We will still judge our entries and include everyone on our map. Old Town lighting and Christmas tree. Old Town will dazzle with lights this holiday season. The usual snowflakes and garland will only look more festive with the help from the new market lights and the cheer from the Old Town Christmas tree. Virtual Christmas tree lighting at the pond. Since we can't light the tree in person this year, we would like to invite TCSU President Schwank to film at the pond and light the tree. Then we can share the video at a council meeting in November to officially kick off the holiday season. Letters to Santa. Let's encourage everyone who believes in Santa and his magic to send a letter to our City Hall North Pole that we can pass along to Santa. Santa did let me know that he will take time to write everyone back, and I told him we would mail the letters back for him, as he and the elves are so busy this time of the year. I know what I'm asking for. Christmas cookie virtual exchange. Show us your favorite Christmas cookie or holiday treat. Send us your recipe and picture of your treat, and we will share online. I can't wait to get some new recipes. Who am I kidding? I don't bake, but good news, my mom does. Holiday drive-in movies. We anticipate a positive response to the Halloween movie night and look forward to hosting 2 drive-in movies in December. Dates and movies to be determined pending a fun and safe Halloween movie experience. Here comes Santa Claus. Even Professor Pennypickle agrees that in this current environment, we can't have Santa at Pennypickle's workshop in Old Town, so instead, we'll bring Santa to your neighborhood. Santa, Frosty, and Rudolph will spend 16 nights visiting 35 neighborhoods while social distancing in a holiday convertible. We will encourage residents to stand in their driveways or nearest cross street in their jammies, glow necklaces, and bring their holiday cheer. Temecula on ice. To skate or not to skate? That is the question. We have confirmed in writing with Riverside County Public Health that County Council believes that an outdoor ice skating rink would most properly fall within the outdoor family entertainment category rather than outdoor recreation. Under our current red tier, capacity should be no more than 25%. This would permit the ice rink operations with data conditions driving that decision at the time of opening. It is important to note that this guidance is tier specific and tied to Riverside County remaining in the red tier or a less restrictive tier, orange or yellow. So what that means is we could have an ice rink with reservations only with a maximum of 33 skaters at each session this year. New Year's Eve grape drop. Who is ready to ring out 2020 and ring in a new year? Since we can't gather like we typically do, this year you can ring in 2021 from the comfort of your home with a concert at 7 and 9:15 on Facebook, and then join us for the virtual grape drop countdown at 9 and midnight. I know this isn't all the same holiday traditions we've been able to offer.
Oh my
in the past,
gosh.
but the team was able to come up with some fun, creative, and safe holiday activities, so our residents can hopefully make some new traditions this year. And that concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I'm never going to be able to unremember that. So Kevin, Dawn, a great report. Oh my gosh, you guys have been so busy. And nothing else. So there are several things that council members could participate in if we wanted to. I mean, we could follow Santa Claus around, a couple of neighborhoods if we wanted to. And, as long as we didn't get out of the car, we can wave, and probably some other opportunities, if we come down and skate. And maybe we'll do some kind of a video thing for the grape drop, where we count down or something. I don't know. That would be great. So another great job, you guys. I'm just so proud of everyone. I think our residents appreciate it too. So heck, I'm looking forward to it. All right.
Thank you so much. And please, these were just suggestions that and plans that we had. But if there are any comments or recommendations or ideas that the council has, please share them with us, and we'll try to explore before the holidays get here. But you're part of this too, so we want to hear from you.
Can I add one quick
Oh,
thing? Well,
sorry.
two. I'm extremely disappointed we're not going to be able to do the Bobby races because I know this was going to be my year. So super disappointed about that. But I think we'll just call me the winner.
Oh, no, 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 no. Oh,
Yeah,
no, no,
that'll-
no, 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 no.
I did want to bring up one thing, which I think would be kind of a fun. I don't know logistically, how challenging or whatever this would be, but we missed out on the 4th of July parade. We know that, and then we'll miss out on the holiday and Christmas parade too. And that's I think some of our favorite time of the year, and brings a lot of family and a lot of folks into town. If we could just have a quick peek, Dawn, at maybe doing a reverse parade, right? So you get, the CR&R truck and the fire engine and the motors and the council and, all of our other folks who do the light up parade floats and all that. And we just park them on the street and then maybe make Old Town Front Street a one-way, for that one evening, and allow the residents to actually drive past the parade rather than, us, going through a crowd of folks. I don't know logistically how difficult that is, but if we could pull something like that off, that could be a lot of fun, and I'll bring the hot cocoa.
Kind of like the Rose
So,
Parade floats at Victory Park. after the
Anyway,
parade.
that's all.
Logistically,
Yeah,
it is an
just in
option.
reverse.
In Old Town, with the current dining situation, that would not be an option. So we'd have to find an alternate location.
Fair enough. Well, maybe we could run it in front of City Hall then instead, or something. Yeah. Anyway, just a thought. Yeah.
We'll definitely explore it.
Cool. Otherwise, you guys just incredible job at putting all this together for the year. I think we're all going to appreciate a little bit of the holiday cheer and being able to see everybody's.
All right, so great ideas and staff, phenomenal job, another home run.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem,
Mike?
If there's a desire for historic purposes, I will donate those pajamas. to the kids. Okay. All right, just letting you know. And Kevin, let me know if you want that. And we'll have them cleaned.
Yeah, I just don't even, I have that, yeah, I'll never get that out of my head now, sorry.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
thank you. So I know we're all trying to dig deep, right? Like this has been tough on everybody. It's sort of, you get through the summer and we're unable to do the 4th of July, and you get to this time of the year where everyone clearly loves what we do, right? And so we're trying to get to a point where we can try to spread some cheer. The thought of missing the duck pond tree lighting for my family is like unconscionable. We've never missed it, right? Like many families make it every year. So, I'm excited to see that we're trying to do some of these things. And I think, Councilmember Ron, if we have to run sort of time trials on the bobbies, you could go do one, and then another day I could do one, and we could figure a way to crown a real winner, and instead of just straight up declaring you a winner. But
he called you on it.
You're saying this to a man who put sandpaper on the bottom of his shoe to try and get extra traction.
Hey, it worked. Aaron still beat me, but I think it's because he had more help.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, though, John and your team, the things that you're doing for the city, and even trying to get creative with, and I do like the idea of a reverse parade or some sort of something that we can sort of like try to create that environment, given the framework that we're living in. I'm proud of the team. I'm proud of the work that you're putting in. And to Kevin's point, everyone is sort of really, again, we're all digging deep right now, trying to make this work, and I appreciate that. And Mike, I'm going to be running to Target to give me a onesie. So.
Oh man.
I'm looking forward to cookies and Santa and just trying to spread some cheer. So I think as a community, we can all come together and realize that we're still a community and we all need to care for each other and try to spread that cheer. So I'm excited for this time of year.
Oh, thanks, Zach. Okay, anybody else? No? All right, so we are going to get on with commission reports, right? And let's see who's up. So Eric, I'm gonna go Eric.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem
Evening.
Edwards, City Council members, staff, colleagues, and the community. As Chair of the Community Services Commission, I have the pleasure reporting tonight. And it being October, TCSD is celebrating Halloween. The Halloween Home Decorating Contest is accepting entries through the 23rd. This year, and as previously mentioned, we're collaborating with the City of Murrieta. All entries from both cities will be included on the map and the public will be able to vote for the overall winner. In lieu of the Halloween Carnival, which I'm really bummed about, we are hosting a virtual costume contest. Participants have until October 21st to submit photos. At the conclusion of the contest, staff will put together a fun video, we'd expect nothing less, and that will announce the winners of each age group and category and be released at the end of the month. Lastly, our Halloween drive-in movie will happen on October 25th. We're going to host our first drive-in movie and continue the Halloween festivities by showing Hocus Pocus. Movie night will be hosted at the Dirt Lot at the corner of Santiago and Inez Road. This event is limited to 40 pre-registered cars and the film begins at 7 p.m. It will be a fantastic time for all families in attendance. That concludes my report this evening. I'm here for any questions.
All right, thank you, Eric. Any questions, anybody?
Yeah, quick one if I may.
Go ahead, Mike.
First of all, great work on the drive-in movie. Will pickup trucks be allowed? Can you be in the back of the pickup truck? I have people asking me that.
Director Hawkins?
Well, that's a ritual where I come from.
Oh, did Director Hawkins? Oh, there he is.
Take that or?
I'm trying to click on so I can defer to Don.
I had a feeling.
It's
So,
UVA.
you can sit in the bed of a pickup truck, but that is the only way you will be allowed out of your vehicle.
Great, thank you.
Good question.
Great. All right, thank you. So Lene, how are you?
I am good.
There you are.
There I am. Hi.
How's everything at the Planning Commission?
Well, it's good. And speaking of affordable housing, which we heard some comments tonight and comments from Mike about affordable housing. And so we had an affordable housing project brought to us last week on, hold on a second, sorry.
Turning down the television set or the radio. Usually it's my dog that's barking, so this is better. And we've all been there too. Mute.
All right, sorry about that. So anyway, last Wednesday, we had a project come to us and it's located in Uptown Jefferson between Las Haciendas and Calle Cortez. There's a RV park or RV retail area right there, kind of gives you an idea of where it is. And you know, I mean, the hard part is the state has kind of tied our hands in some ways on affordable housing and what we can and can't do. But this particular project is for 77 units. And the applicant was there, obviously, and we felt like under the circumstances, it's a good project and would be good for the area. And so that was voted on for that evening. So that will be an affordable housing plan that will be coming to us. And we're hoping that it will be a good one. So that's what we took care of last week. And we have some other things coming up in the near future that are pretty important. So stay tuned.
Thank you, Lene. Despite COVID, things are still moving forward in Temecula. So
Yeah.
it's wonderful. All right, Brad.
Just
Okay,
briefly.
well, is your partner still there?
He's
So
still
this,
here.
this gave me a great idea. I think we should bring a dog to a council meeting one of these times. So you can have your dogs in the room with you. I'd love to see all the dogs.
Yeah, anytime I'm too long on the computer, he's on my lap. That's
Oh,
about.
yeah.
Anyways, our next meeting will be on the 22nd at 6 o'clock via Zoom, and the agenda will be posted in the next few days. And that's all we have at this time.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, so we're going to get on to public safety reports.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, could I just say something real quick? Just, you know, Brad, without getting into any details, I know that you had some medical scares, but then you got a clean bill of health, and I just wanted you to know we're all really happy about that.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you. That, yeah, it was a positive on the first test, confirmation of malignancy. Further testing showed it was benign. So I am so grateful.
That's great. Well, we're
Thank you.
glad. Okay, so Chief, you're up.
Yes, Madam Pro Tem, City Council members and staff. It's been very nice tonight to listen to you guys and have the back and forth. And I just want to start out before I get into all the stats and things that I'm very proud of our firefighters here in Temecula. They've been gone for weeks away from their families fighting the fires in California. And then also the ones that have to stay back and answer the call for service here in the city of Temecula without interruption and doing it with a smile on their face and getting out and doing really great things in our community. So my hat's off to our firefighters, and I appreciate the work. They made me very proud. And even in September, we ran 734 calls in the city. 515 of those have been medical related. We've had 57 traffic collisions and 28 fires, all while California has been on fire, and some of our staff has been out battling that for many, many weeks. So great accomplishment, and I don't take it lightly for their dedication to the city of Temecula and the sacrifices they have made. I thank them all. And I'll go to the next slide, and we'll talk about our plan review and inspections for the city of Temecula. Plan review in the city for September, we did 364. We've done construction inspections, 241, and 461 annual inspections in the city. Public inquiries and over the counter, 484 for the year. In September, we did 0. City Hall is closed, but we do have an excellent online program, so we do not interrupt any construction or plan reviews in the city of Temecula. I also have the great honor tonight to introduce the new Riverside County Fire Chief, Bill Weiser, and he would like to speak to you guys and say a few words. Chief Weiser?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm glad to speak to everyone tonight, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. It's a pleasure to see all of you tonight and watch the meeting and see the wonderful staff of Temecula. Although I was only there for just a minute in Temecula as the intern, it was a real highlight of my career so far.
Chief, will you do me a favor? Tip your camera up a little bit because we can only see it from the nose down. There you go.
I can't see myself. I got his craters thing. That's all I got.
There you go.
Okay. So anyway, that was just, I know most of you know me and remember me from not that long ago there in Temecula, but I've been going around to all the different cities introducing myself. and it was just good to see everyone again there in the city.
Well, we're thrilled for you, and on behalf of the city of Temecula, congratulations. And we look forward to, continued great relationship with CAL FIRE. So, all right. So, city manager's report.
Yes, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, Chief Weiser, great to see you. All the best in the new job. Just a couple of quick things I wanted to share with the community, with the council. Earlier this week, we were notified, actually Public Works was notified, that the American Public Works Association recognized them particularly for the small project of the year for the Inland Empire, which of course was the pump track, which was a big success here over at Ronald Reagan Sports Park. So I'd like to congratulate Pat Thomas and Nino, Matt Peters, Luke Watson, Kevin Hawkins, all their respective teams that worked on that project. Small project of the year, very, very cool. And we'll do a press release in the week to come, and we'll get the word out about that. And then lastly, I'm going to yield my time to our distinguished city clerk for a quick election commercial, because we know we're getting a lot of inquiries and phone calls and emails, and it's dominating the news. So I think it's important for our community to hear how our election will remain safe and some of the public information that is coming out of City Hall. So Randy.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. The ballots in Riverside County were actually mailed out last week, beginning on October 5th. There are over 1.2 million voters in Riverside County, and the countywide mailing occurred throughout the entire week last week. So we've been getting a lot of inquiries about where's my ballot. So if the ballots went out throughout the entire last week, and with Sunday and Monday being non-mail delivery days, yesterday was a holiday, Temecula voters should receive their ballots in the mail this week. If voters do not receive their ballot by the end of this week, they are encouraged to contact the ROV's office directly. Upon receipt in Temecula, voters can go ahead and vote safely in one of three ways. They can either mail their ballot, they can drop off their ballot at one of our 3 vote by mail locations, or they can go ahead and vote in person at one of the 6 voter assistance center locations from October 31st to November 3rd. The dates, times, and addresses of the VBM and VAC locations can be found online on the city's website at temeculaca.gov. And the postcard that you're seeing on your screen right now also identifies that information. It was sent to all households last week. And then finally, for additional information, as always, voters can contact the city clerk's office and the ROV's office. And thank you, Mr. City Manager. I will yield back to you.
Thank you. I have nothing further, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Aaron, and thank you, Randy. Peter, you don't have anything for us, do you?
I don't have anything tonight for you, Madam Mayor and members of the council.
Nothing tonight. So again, I think next meeting should be, have your dog at your side meeting for the city council. And so with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Come on. I have a motion. Mike, you're just grinning.
I'm just gonna log off here.
I'll move adjournment.
All right, there you go. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And we stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.